Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा। ये जो क्लास है वो इंग्लिश में होगी, लेकिन ग्रुप में एक गूगल मीट का लिंक भेजा जाएगा। जो भी हिंदी भाषी बात है उसके लिए साइमल्टेनियस ट्रांसलेशन होगा। उस गूगल लिंक पर आप जाके वो सुन सकते हैं। ठीक है? हरे कृष्णा। पीछे बैठ के मतलब सुन सकते हैं। Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we are very fortunate today to have association of His Holiness Guru Prasad Maharaj. Maharaj's association is very rare, especially because now Maharaj is looking after so many temples in India and abroad in America especially. And Maharaj travels a lot in India also. So Maharaj is a disciple of his divine Krishna Prabhupada. And Maharaj has been preaching all this so many decades all over the world. And Maharaj is our GBC, of course, our great shelter. And most importantly, Maharaj is a wonderful Vaishnava. So many of us, I have associated many leaders of ISKCON India, and we all feel actually that Maharaj association as we are getting day after day. So we are realizing why His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj had handed over his responsibilities to Maharaj. Actually, initially when I heard Maharaj's name, like Gopal Krishna Maharaj, gave his responsibilities to Maharaj, so I was wondering who is Guru Prasad Maharaj. So I knew him as a face, I had seen in GBC meetings and all. But I have not got that kind of association actually of Maharaj to know him. And honestly, I was wondering that why is someone who's never been here or who how and does Maharaj know about these places and the devotees and I had my curiosity that why Gopal Krishna Maharaj would do that. Why particularly Guru Prasad Maharaj? And then when I got Maharaj's association, when I saw his exemplary practice, his heard the wisdom of his realizations, actually I could more and more appreciate the decision of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj. So we really thank Maharaj for being here, especially on a very tight schedule. Maharaj is in many cities in Uttar Pradesh, and last 1.5 days were there in Prayagraj, and today he is here. And let us seek his blessings and his association and take the determination and the quality of Krishna consciousness which through Maharaj realization we can also get. Maharaj lays a lot of emphasis on quality of devotees and he lays emphasis on education and kirtan rather than simply practicing just as ritual. So let us welcome him here by once chanting the Mahamantra.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Ram. Ram Ram. Hare Hare.
So these devotees who are sitting here, you can come behind Maharaj. Maharaj can also see you.
Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya
Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Pijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Rajajanarandana Yashodanandana Rajajanarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Rajajanarandana Yashodanandana Rajajanarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gora Hari Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jayam Vishnupada Paramahansa Paribhaja Acharya Ashtotar Satasi Srimad Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Sri Prabhupada ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Gaur Premanandi Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Will there be any translation? Or?
No, Maharaj.
Okay. Okay. Can you bring that black case that has my earpieces? So first of all, I'd like to say very happy to be here in Varanasi, first time. No? It's a very famous place, and especially in the past times of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Of course, many great things happened here, but for us, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came here to instruct his devotees, that is the most significant thing. That makes this place, for all the other holy things that from history, this is the most significant, because this is where instructions, very pertinent instructions about how to perform devotional service have manifested. So you're very fortunate to be here, and the way that we can make this yatra meaningful is to put those instructions into practice in our lives. So today we'll read from first canto, chapter 18, text number 33. Aho adharma palanam pivnam bali bhujamiva swamin jagam yaddasanam dvarapanam shunam viva. I didn't know we had the verse up here, so no. We'll do line by line. Aho adharma palanam pivnam bali bhujamiva swamin yagam yaddasanam dvarapanam shunamiva. Aho adharmam palanam pivnam bali bhujamiva swamin agham yaddasanam dvarapanam shunamiva.
Aho adharma palana.
Aho adharma pivnam bali bhujamiva swamin agham yaddasanam Aho Dharma Palana. Swamin Yagam Sadhasana. Nirvana Tsunami. Vaishnavi. Aho Dharma Palana. Bhignam Bali Bhujaniva. Swanim Yagam Yadhasanam. Dvarapanam Shunamiva. Aho Dharma Palana. Bhignam Bali Bhujaniva. Swamim Yagam Yadhasanam. Dvarapanam Shunamiva. Aho, just look at adharma, irreligion, palanam, of the rulers, pivnam, of one who is brought up, balibhujam, like the crows, iva, like swamini, unto the master, agham, sin, yet what is dasanam, of the servants, dvarapanam, keeping watch at the door, shunam, of the dogs, iva, like. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Brahmana's son, Shringi, said, "Oh, just look at the sins of the rulers who, like crows and watchdogs at the door, perpetrate sins against their masters, contrary to the principles governing servants." Everyone can please repeat. The Brahman's son, Shringi, said, "Oh, just look at the sins of the rulers who, like crows and watchdogs at the door, perpetrate sins against their masters, contrary to the principle governing servants." Report. The Brahmins are considered to be the head and brains of the social body, and the Kshatriyas are considered to be the arms of the social body. The arms are required to protect the body from all harm, but the arms must act according to the direction of the head and brain. That is a natural arrangement made by the Supreme Order, for it is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita that 4 social orders or castes, namely Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras, are set up according to quality and work done by them. Naturally, the son of a Brahman has a good chance to become a Brahman by the direction of his qualified father. As a son of a medical practitioner, has a very good chance to become a qualified medical practitioner. So the caste system is quite scientific. The son must take advantage of the father's qualification and thus become a Brahmin or medical practitioner, and not otherwise. Without being qualified, one cannot become a Brahmin or a medical practitioner. And that is the verdict of all scriptures and social orders. Herein, Om Jnana Timirandasya Jana Shankaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmat Sri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Tapitam Yena Bhutale Ayam Rupakata Ahyam Tadati Svaparantikam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Shatardine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I stopped here because this is Srila Prabhupada's analysis of the Varnashram system. And so the reason Srila Prabhupada is giving a lot of, as it says in the previous verse, the sage had a son who was very powerful, being a Brahman's son. So this means that Shringi, because his father was a very qualified Brahmin, he also had the qualifications of a Brahmin. But because he was young and immature, he had not developed proper discrimination. When we're young, generally discrimination is not fully developed, and therefore young people should be protected. That's the value of, in a real society, the elders are very valuable. In a contaminated society, the elders are not respected. They are seen to be obstacles. We have to, taking care of elders, as they say in English, old and gray and in the way. So, meaning, they're obstacles. So this is West. The West is very much into the idea that elders are basically useless. We just have to tolerate them and, put them in some home where they can all live together with other old people and not bother us as we make progressive society. So he was a very qualified father, and therefore he had a qualified son, but he was immature. So, but Srila Prabhupada is explaining here the importance of Brahmins and the fact that otherwise, why is Shringi acting like this, apart from affection to his father? Because he has some Brahmanical understanding. And he's saying that the Kshatriya should respect the Brahmins. Just like when Prithu Maharaj received the Kumaras, he offered them his kingdom. He said, "You're Brahmin." When Lord Vishnu saw that his two door guards, Jai and Vijay, insulted the Brahmins, even though they were residents of Vaikuntha, he chastised them. So this is establishing the Brahmanical order. In the 5th canto, the Lord Vishnu says that I eat through the mouths of the Brahman. Otherwise, he says, I will not accept anything. On the other hand, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that even if a very qualified Brahmin offers something, but he is not a Vaishnava, then I won't accept it, even though he may be very qualified. So this is very important, the first part of this purport. To understand, and Srila Prabhupada makes the point, that Krishna created this system. Chaturvarna maya shrishtam guna bhaga vibhagashaha. That guna karma vibhagashaha is based on qualities, first thing that Krishna mentions, qualities. And karma, one's destiny. So guna, you have to acquire the qualities. And how do we acquire qualities? by association with devotees. So that's why association is so important, because we can actually become Brahmins. And we can, Srila Prabhupada said, real civilization has three components. One, that it sustains the Brahmanical society, meaning that Brahmins are prominent, and they dictate what is the most valuable thing. They dictate morality and ethics. And the most important ethic is that Brahmanical society or spiritual principles are the most important thing. So the next element is that the society must be dedicated to love of God. And the third thing, there must be protection of the cows. These three things aren't there. Even in India, although the cows are not protected, they're wandering around in the streets, no one is protecting them, too busy making money, and being absorbed in mundane things. And so many people are killing the cows. Although we profess to be Hindus, sometimes we don't act like Hindus. Just do the externals, do some mudras, go before the deity, and then I feel good about myself. But this is not real Brahmanical culture. Real Brahmanical culture means that we must protect the cows, protect the Brahmins, protect the elders, protect the women, protect the children. And this is the duty of real society. Because, as it says here, that yad dasanam, we are all servants. We are all servants. Not that, but in materialistic society, we all want to become masters. We all want to control. We want others to be subordinate. This is envy. And therefore, the Bhagavatam begins, paramo nimatsaranam sutam, that we have to be free from envy. Otherwise, you can never understand this Bhagavatam. If you want to, and also in the first canto, the whole Bhagavatam begins, the first instruction, very first instruction in the Bhagavatam, that ahaitu patyata, this bhakti yoga prayojita, this bhakti yoga what is the main two ingredients? That it must be unmotivated. There is a motivation. The motivation is to please Krishna. Haritoshana. Some sit here, Haritoshana. We want to please Krishna. But there's no other motivation. We don't use devotional service or use Krishna to get what we want. We try to understand by hearing, people always ask me, how do we know what Krishna wants? And I say, I'm surprised you're asking this question. Just read Bhagavad Gita. And what does he want? He wants us to become qualified to love him. That's what he wants. And it's all there. So many things he wants in Bhagavad Gita. And we're wondering, what does he want? So many things in Bhagavatam that Krishna wants. But it's all bhakshami hitakam yaya, Krishna says. It is for your benefit. I'm speaking this Gita for your benefit, not for my benefit. No. What do I have to do? What does Radha Gopal have to do here in the material world? No. Why are they here? Mahaprabhu or Radha Gopal or Radhaveni Madhava or Radha Govinda. What are they doing here? They're here just for our benefit. Otherwise, they take the deity form. I always make this point, and they're standing 24 hours a day just for our benefit. How many of us will stand for 24 hours a day for Krishna's benefit? No. We stand up 15, 20 minutes, 1/2 hour, we're tired. No. And we sit down. The deities are standing all day long and smiling. How many of us smile 24 hours a day? We get angry, we get frustrated, but the deity, he's doing this. He's showing that life is meant to smile, to be happy. This is the nature of the living entity, Satchit Ananda. This is our very nature. But we forget about the reality, which is to be Krishna conscious. And so no motivation and no envy. And motivation comes from envy. We want what others have. That is envy. So this Bhagavatam says, first you must be Parama. You must be transcendental, and you must be free from envy. So then most of us, let's just close this Bhagavatam. No. What am I doing hearing this Bhagavatam? I'm so many bad qualities. And here, Shringi is showing the nature of Kaliyuga. Criticize. We always criticize. We're judging everyone. This person's like this. We box them in to their, how the gunas are affecting them. Even though Bhagavad Gita says that it's not the person that is acting, it is the three modes of nature, which actually also reveals to us how much freedom do we have. Otherwise, Krishna says, you can't be blamed for what you're doing immediately, because you already caused it to happen by previous activity. That you are to blame for that. But why is he saying this? You see how these modes of nature are acting. Otherwise, don't, as it says in 11th canto of Bhagavatam, don't praise yourself and don't condemn yourself. Just understand how the modes of nature work, see how they're working on you, and how to be free from them. That's why is there a description of the modes of nature in the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 14, 17, and 18? Why, and all through Gita, and why does Kapila Dev speak 2 chapters on the modes of nature? So that we can understand, we can identify these modes of nature and see how they're acting upon us and see how to be free from them. Just like in Ishupanishad, it says, vidya. You must know knowledge and ignorance. You have to understand these modes of nature to understand how they can confuse us. And so this is what Srila Prabhupada is saying here, that Shringi had qualification. Now, in this second part of the purport, he says, herein, Shringi, a qualified son of a great Brahman, attained the required Brahmanical power, both by birth and by training. But he was lacking in culture because he was an inexperienced boy. By the influence of Kali, the son of a Brahman became puffed up with Brahmanical power, and thus wrongly compared Maharaj Parikshit to crows and watchdogs. The king is certainly a watchdog of the state in the sense that he keeps vigilant eyes over the border of the state for its protection and defense. But to address him as a watchdog is a sign of a less cultured boy. Thus the downfall of the Brahmanical powers began as they gave importance to birthright without culture. The downfall of the Brahmanical caste began in the age of Kali. Since the Brahmanas are the heads of the social order, all other orders of society also began to deteriorate. This is the beginning of Brahmanical deterioration was highly deplored by the father of Shringi, as we will find. So, here Srila Prabhupada is speaking of culture, meaning Shikshastika. That is our culture. How do we become cultured? We may have some knowledge. So, Shikshastika is not giving us knowledge in the sense of, it is knowledge, but it's giving us culture. That type of knowledge which reforms, which causes us to become proper Vaishnavas, proper devotees of the Lord. Shikshastika, the first verse is a summary of the whole Shikshastika. It begins, first, you cleanse away the gross desires, gross unnecessary desires by chanting the holy name. So that doesn't mean we just chant carelessly. It means we have to chant very carefully so that these desires, how do you cleanse the heart of these desires? Is it like some mystical process? No. Cleansing the heart means that when we concentrate on the holy name, we understand it. The purity of the holy name helps us understand what Krishna is teaching us in Bhagavad Gita so that we can avoid these things. So if we don't chant carefully and understand this holy name, there is no abhinatvam namanamino. There is no difference between Krishna and his holy name. Then we will chant improperly, offensively, and we will not be able to avoid the force of the modes of nature. They will force us. Just as Arjuna asked Krishna, why is it, Krishna, sometimes I know I shouldn't do something, but I do it anyway? And he said that kama esha, krodha esha, rajoguna samudbhavaha. That this kama and this krodha, they come from the mode of passion. So therefore, Krishna warns us we must be free from these modes. And the way you get free from the modes is by chanting, which gives you the purity and the strength and the determination to be able to follow what Krishna is instructing in Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, it will overpower you. This is why Arjuna is acting as he is under the influence of Yoga Maya. He's acting as if in ignorance, that he can't control himself. He can't, just like Shringi, he can't control himself. He could not understand. This whole pastime was made in such a way. Why did Parikshit Maharaj come to the ashram of Samikya Muni? Because Samikya Muni had a young son. And therefore, because later on, Parikshit Maharaj, he says, once he's cursed, he says, why did I do this? Why did I put this snake? I know better than that. This must be Krishna's plan. He could understand because he's a pure devotee. We don't always think like that. We think, why did this person do this? Oh, because he's a demon. No. I'm such a wonderful devotee, and this person has offended me. A real devotee never thinks that anyone offends him. A real devotee thinks that this is happening to me because of my past activity. Tatte nukampam susamikshamana punjana evatmakritam atmakrita. This has been made by me. This happened because I did something in the past. This other person who is bothering me or who is criticizing me or who is doing something is just the instrument of my karma. It's not, I don't blame that person. I blame myself. So this is Vaishnava culture. And we come to this, Bhava Mahat Vagni Nirvapanam, means that by culture, otherwise, the first part of Shastika is speaking about Nam Namakari Bahudani Sarva Shakti, that the potency, the Lord's holy name has so much potency, and by His mercy it is being given to us. But Durdaivam Idrishami Hajani Nanuraga, that the impulse to commit improper activities is coming from the subtle body. And therefore, Bhava Mahadvagni Nirvapana means to cleanse the subtle body. How do we cleanse the subtle body? Trinadapi, Sunichenadu, Dorori Vase, Amanina Manijenadu, Dunyasa. This is the culture. This is the essence of the Vaishnava culture. I cultivate humility. How do we cultivate humility? Do you extract it out of the books? How do you get it? But you associate with devotees who have humility. And usually the superior Vaishnavas, they should have humility. And how do we cultivate tolerance? Just like Srila Prabhupada, we saw how tolerant he was. He came and lived among totally uncultured people. And he tolerated. But sometimes we cannot tolerate others. So how will we advance spiritually? And amanina, that's very difficult. I don't want anyone to glorify me, recognize me in any way. And then manadena, the most difficult, to honor everyone else. Because some people are very difficult to honor. They have so many bad habits. So we see people killing animals, killing cows, killing people. How do I honor them? Well, you have to see the spirit soul within the heart. And understand all these things are happening because they have no culture. And therefore our duty is to give them culture. That is the duty. But we cannot give them culture if Dana Jana Sundari Kavita, if we are interested in fruitive activities, the opposite sex, money and recognition. How will I give culture to others if I have no culture myself? If money is so important that, I would do anything for that money. And so, as Prasad Maharaj said to his friends, that do not be interested in playing and being happy, because happiness, you already have your quota. Just like suffering, you have your quota and it will come automatically. You don't have to look for it. You don't go out and cultivate, let me suffer more. Only Queen Kunti says that. No. She says, let me suffer more. No, we cannot do that because we're already bewildered by how much we're suffering. And it's definitely enough to deal with. But Kunti Devi is so advanced that she is asking, let me suffer more. When Krishna was leaving, she said, just see, Krishna was leaving for Dwarka, and she said, just see that now we have a palace and everything, and you're leaving. Before, we had nothing, and you were with us. Therefore, better to have nothing. Better to have nothing. So therefore, a Vaishnava must not have anything. This is called renunciation. Renunciation doesn't mean to give up what you have because you don't have anything. Srila Prabhupada said renunciation means to understand that I never had anything, nor will I ever have anything. That I have dominion over Krishna's property. And if I understand that, I will use it in his service. Even if I have millions and millions and millions of rupees, crores and crores and crores of rupees, even if I have all that, it is only for using in Krishna's service. And of course, if I have that much, I may have, because I have to manage that wealth, I have facilities. But everything, if we want to be Vaishnavas, everything must be for the pleasure of Krishna. Just like Ambarish Maharaj. He was the emperor of the world. Who can get more wealthy? No. But what did he do? He didn't even do yagyas for the benefit of the Lord. He engaged his ministers in doing yagyas so that he could deeply meditate on the Supreme Personality of God. He was so Krishna conscious. Ramachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he renounced his kingdom and lived as a mendicant, practically. And he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wouldn't even accept a little straw to lie down on. He would lie down on the ground and use his hand for a pillow. No pillow, no straw, nothing. And he's Krishna. He's not even Vishnu, he's Krishna. And still, the Supreme Enjoyer shows us that, not that we have to lie down on the ground, but at least we should try to simplify our lives and be Krishna conscious. So, Krishna arranged that Parikshit Maharaj would put the snake around this particular Brahmin. Why? So that his son could curse Parikshit Maharaj. And why did he want this particular boy to curse Parikshit Maharaj? Anyone know? He wanted it because he was so young that he would not incur the offense. He was a young boy. But still, Samikya Muni, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned at the end of the purport, he was very concerned what my son has done. We'll see in the next verses. He says that he chastises his son. His son came to him very proud, just like Ashwatthama. When he killed the sons of the Pandavas, he thought, oh, Duryodhana will be very proud. And even Duryodhana, who despised the Pandavas, said, killing these sons, what have you done? Even Duryodhana. So Shringi came to his father, I cursed him. He offended you, I cursed him. He thought he would say, oh, nice boy, good job. No. What have you done? He is the king. The king is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And even more, he is a Mahabhagavata. You have done the most horrible thing. And then he thought, what will be the fate of my son? He has committed an offense against a Mahabhagavata. He said, therefore, I must pray to the Lord to forgive him. The best thing, he said, the best thing would be if Parikshit Maharaj curses him. I'm praying that Maharaj Parikshit will curse him, because that way his offense will be eliminated immediately. But then he said, Tiraskrita vipralabdha Shapta Shipta Hata Api. That no, that will never happen. Because a Vaishnava, even if they're cheated, even if they're defamed, even if they're neglected, and even if they're cursed, nasya cha, nasyata patikurvanti, they will never counteract that curse. Tad bhakta papavopihi. Even though they have the ability to do so, they won't do it. So he said, my Lord, the only possibility to my son is you be merciful. He didn't know what he was doing. So he prayed like that. And so all this is arranged by Krishna. And Krishna, because of his prayer, not because of his prayer, he arranged it this way. But externally speaking, because of his prayer, he forgave Shringi. But still, Shringi was the instrument to bring in the degradation of the Brahmanical culture. By what? By considering the other orders of society to be lower. A Brahmin never thinks like that. And what to speak of a Vaishnava? A Vaishnava thinks, I am the servant of the servant. No. I don't consider anyone below me. Everyone is above me. So the Brahmin has to have that humility and see, I have been given this knowledge for some reason, to help others, to instruct others. I have been given this knowledge. No, not that I'm very proud, I have knowledge, I'm better than others. They don't A real Brahmin will never think like that. They will think, I have been given this. A devotee also thinks, I have been given this position. A guru. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says we all should be guru. He doesn't say that only there's a few Diksha gurus and everybody else is a follower. No, he says, yeah, I want everyone. Hamara Gyaya Guru Hanyatare Desh. I want everyone to be guru. And therefore, what does that mean? It means that we have the duty to take this Krishna consciousness and give it to others. Now, tomorrow is the official beginning of Prabhupada Marathon. And we have that opportunity to do it in such a way intensely. Intensely means that it doesn't matter who we are. We can give away one book a day. Give it away. If you can't sell it, give it away. Buy a box of books. If everyone here buys one box of books and you give away one book every day, depending on what book it is. Small books you can give away. Bhagavad Gita is better to get some donation, unless you're very wealthy. And so we will be giving these books to everyone, and be absorbed in serving the Lord and doing the highest welfare activity. There's no greater. People think building a hospital, giving food, this is the best welfare. No, the best welfare, because as it says, if you give milk to a serpent, they will become more venomous. So if someone is sinful and you feed them, they will continue their sinful nature. So first we give them knowledge, then we feed them. Or while we're feeding them, we give them knowledge. And then they will, the prasadam, we give them. We don't just feed them, we give them prasadam. And we ask them to chant Hare Krishna. And we give them some knowledge. And then hopefully they will come out of their ignorance to some degree. Now we understand that's difficult, but we do that. And so this marathon is meant to make us conscious of our duty, which is to give knowledge to others, to be guru. This is the best guruship that one can do. Srila Prabhupada said one time, what is the use of your 3-minute talk? Otherwise, what will you be able to tell someone on the street? But you give them the book, and whenever they are ready, that book will manifest for them. It is Krishna's plan that they have that book. That's the plan. Some people, they don't understand the benefit of the book and they'll leave it aside. Just like when I was doing Sankirtan in Chicago airport, the cleanup people, some people would leave the books, they would get the books, and then they would come to the Sankirtan devotees and sell it back to us at 1/4 price. So we could distribute it again. So intelligent, cleanup people. And so we should understand. You may think the cleanup people are not so smart, but they were very smart. And they would actually encourage people, you got that book? Oh, no. That's just a bunch of spiritual things. You won't understand it. Then they would leave it and then they would get the book and sell it back to the devotees. So anyway, so this whole, we can see by this pastime, everything is being arranged by Krishna. And this is the realization of the pure devotees. Prabodhananda Saraswati says, Vishvam Purna Sukayate. I can only see perfection in the whole universe. We see so many imperfect things, but a pure devotee only sees perfection. They do not see anything else. But that doesn't mean that because everything is perfect, we just sit back and say, oh, it's all perfect, I'll just chant Hare Krishna. Go to the Ganga, chant Hare Krishna. No. It means that although everything is perfect, either directly or indirectly, we want to make everything perfect directly by people having knowledge. Perfect indirectly means that they are following the modes of nature. They must follow, according to their karma. They will be forced to work as Krishna says, Nahi kaschik shanamapi jatuchitatya karma krit. Everyone is forced helplessly by these modes of nature to work. So we try to help them understand you should work consciously, work for Krishna. Then you will work consciously. The work you're doing now is unconscious. Although it seems to be conscious. It seems like you're creating something. It seems like you're amassing some wealth. But it is all happening according to your karma. The intelligence you get to be able to do this is happening by your karma. The only freedom we have is to choose. I want to be under the material nature or the spiritual nature. Everything else is forced upon us by previous activities. And what we're doing now will create future previous activities. Otherwise, if I choose properly, then my future will be spiritual. And if I choose improperly, my future will be material and very restricted. If I act spiritually, my future will be very bright and I will have more freedom. My consciousness will develop and we evolve and I will be able to decide for myself. I won't be forced to work anymore. I can decide to follow Krishna. And I can decide, my intelligence will decide how to follow Krishna in the best way. So all this is happening by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this movement is meant to give us access to that mercy. So these are some thoughts on this particular verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. And thank you all for hearing it patiently and my insignificant explanation. So if anyone has a comment or a question.
Any devotee wishes to ask question?
Yes.
Mic. Other mic.
Maharaj, I want to ask a question. How do we develop our unshakable faith in Prabhupada's word, in Prabhupada's book?
What was that? I didn't.
How can I develop unflinching faith in Srila Prabhupada's words?
Just do what Srila Prabhupada is recommending. No. Otherwise, what did Prabhupada say? Chant minimum 16 rounds. Not maximum, minimum. Minimum 16 rounds. No. And hear from Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, associate with the devotees, chant, and kirtan, attend the program. This is what Prabhupada, no. If we can't attend some program because we're busy, everybody's busy, no. So we attend however, otherwise Krishna can see perfectly if you're doing the maximum that you can possibly do. Then he will give you the intelligence to do things in the proper way, and he will also change your circumstances so that you can have more access to devotional service. Once he sees that you're sincere, then he will change the circumstances of your life. No. But if we're trying to force Krishna, give me more mercy than I deserve, then you won't get it. Because Krishna is more interested in what you're not giving than what you're giving. What you're giving is already there, but Krishna wants to see what you're not giving. And so, and he knows what you're not giving. He wants you to see it. So that's why he gives us sometimes some difficulty, so that we can see how to be more Krishna conscious. So if we do all those things, Srila Prabhupada said, every night one should think, what did I do for Krishna? What did I do for Maya? Let me do more for Krishna, let me do less for Maya. And if we do that every day, then we will advance spiritually. Hare Krishna.
Any more questions? Give mic.
Here it comes.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Actually, I have said a pure devotee always see perfection everywhere. But actually, we are working on it, but we are unable to, as you have already said, that material natures are working on us very strictly. So, how small steps we can take to cope up with from?
Srila Prabhupada said that pure devotee does not mean they are omniscient. It means that they are servants of Krishna. They don't know everything. They know what Krishna wants them to know. Krishna gives the ability, the intelligence. Just like Jiva Goswami, why can we not achieve what Jiva Goswami achieved? Because that was what Krishna assigned him to do. And Krishna is assigning us maybe to make some garlands or distribute some books or give a lecture or something else. And we're just doing that in a humble state of mind, hopefully. And so that to please Krishna. The important thing is to please Krishna. Just like Ramachandra, he was as pleased with a little ant or spider, little insect who was carrying a grain of sand as he was with Hanuman, who was carrying a mountain. But the point is that I just mentioned, to do the maximum, what the most you can do. And at the same time, understand, as Srila Prabhupada said many times, that Krishna consciousness is a gradual process. Don't get into anxiety if things are not happening as quickly as you would like them to happen. Prabhupada's classic example is a woman who becomes pregnant, and she has to wait 9 months or 10 months, according to the solar or lunar calendar.
The himself is like that. He's very compassionate actually, always inspiring, very, very positive. So I also appreciate yesterday Maharaj in our meeting in Prayagraj, meeting the leaders there. So I was surprised Maharaj was talking such ground level things. Maharaj was sharing that you should take care of your health and you should not eat too much oil. And you should use cold pressed oil, not refined oil. And he said you should not use too much salt and avoid sugar, use jaggery or other natural sugars. And you won't believe it, Maharaj talked about cows. And he said cow protection means preach the value of cow protection, not just be happy that we keep some cows. And he was sharing that this when you admit youths, like new youths, when you take them, you should consider that in today's society, in today's times, they have been highly exposed to the social media and all the movies and other things. So accordingly, you first give them the joy of Krishna consciousness, then only give them the rules. So, and do what is best for them, not that every youth should join full time. Actually, I was amazed at Maharaj's clarity. For the same purpose of divinity, he is quite grounded and balanced. Today also Maharaj has been directly repeated what Prabhupada says about cultured society. The protection of cows, Brahmanical culture, and that society should be dedicated to love of God. So I really actually love to hear from Maharaj, and I am sure all of you also. Yesterday Maharaj also shared one thing, which I was so blissful to hear, because nobody says this thing. Maharaj is saying, don't just give devotees Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav degrees. Anyone studying academically should also do menial services and behave like. Otherwise, he said that many times we see devotees are presenting, they don't even know what to present because they are not practiced the essence. So I really appreciate Maharaj, your wisdom, your clarity. It is very inspiring. Especially Maharaj, your examples. In Maharaj's dealings, I could see so much respect actually for others, so much sensitivity. He is not like he behaves as a senior devotee. In fact, Maharaj is saying that senior devotee means he should be humble. This is so nice. So, thank you, Maharaj. And actually, one thing Maharaj has been repeating, I heard third time from Maharaj today. He says, what business does Radha Krishna have standing and smiling here? If they have come for us. So 24 hours. So, and Maharaj is giving the message to do intense Prabhupada marathon. Hari Bol. So I would like to request, okay, this is Ram Keshav Prabhu. Maharaj is also one of the leaders. He is going to his office very quickly. Hare Krishna. So, we are the students of Maharaj and under the guidance and leadership of the Guru. Today we are beginning the distribution of book Bhagavad Gita for this year marathon. Hare Krishna. So today we have some special offer for all the devotees. And those devotees who take a vow to distribute at least one carton of Bhagavad Gita. जो भी बात एक या एक से अधिक कार्टन भगवद गीता डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करने का आज प्रण लेते हैं महाराज के सामने उनको महाराज के हाथों से उनके लिए एक भगवद गीता गिफ्ट मिलेगा तो एक कार्टन में हिंदी वाले भगवद गीता 32 होते हैं और जो पर भगवद गीता प्राइस है that will be nearly to 30 rupees but today we will confirm आज हम लोग कंफर्म कर देंगे कि हिंदी भगवद गीता का प्राइस क्या है पर नियरली टू 30 रुपीज के आसपास होगा और एक इंग्लिश वाले भगवद गीता कार्टून में हिंदी भगवद गीता है उनका प्राइस नियरली 290 के आसपास है पर जो फाइनल प्राइस है वो आज हम लोग कंफर्म कर देंगे मैसेज में तो जो भी भक्त डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करना चाहते हैं करने का प्रण लेना चाहते हैं they can come here they can receive gift from the hands of Maharaj. Hari Bol. So these devotees are very happy. Yes, please come. Devotees can come one by one. Meanwhile,
whoever is pledging one carton, so can you just give one Bhagavad Gita?
Okay.
Hare Krishna. So Narendra Pandey will say to distribute at least one carton of Bhagavad Gita, more than one. This is given from hands of Maharaj. Next is Giri Adar is taking vow to distribute more than one carton of Bhagavad Gita. Ashutosh to 500 Bhagavad Gita. Giriyada wants to vow to distribute 500 Bhagavad Gita. Lucky Prabhu will distribute 2 cartons of Bhagavad Gita. Sudakan to 100 Bhagavad Gita. Nilan to 1 carton of Bhagavad Gita. Nilan to
He wants in English. It's English.
Vinod to 1 carton of Bhagavad Gita. Abraham Prabhu 1 carton of Bhagavad Gita. Rishabh Prabhu 1 carton of Bhagavad Gita. Prasad Swami Maharaj 1 carton of Bhagavad Gita. Prasad Prabhu
true cartoon of Bhagavad Gita.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Prasad wrote one cartoon of Bhagavad Gita.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Ram Jai project Karna Bhai Mataji 1+1 cartoon. Minimum 1 cartoon. Very good.
Hare Krishna. Jai.
Asitam Buddhu और प्रपंचनिया माता जी 1+1 cartoon of Bhagavad Gita.
Hare Krishna. Jai.
Next. Kumar Yadav wrote one cartoon of Bhagavad Gita. Surya wrote 3 cartoon of Bhagavad Gita. Narendra Yadav wrote 2 cartoons of Bhagavad Gita.
Just getting English. Show me English.
Ankit wrote 5 cartoons of Bhagavad Gita.
Hare
50 भगवत गीता सोनई माता जी हैं, सौम्य माता जी, हरि बोल। सुंदरी विशाखा माता जी 1 कार्टन ऑफ भगवत गीता, हरि बोल। तरुणी माता जी 650 भगवत गीता, हरि बोल। आरती माता जी 1 कार्टन ऑफ भगवत गीता, हरि बोल। तरुणी माता जी और गिरी यादव लोग का मिलके 1000 गीता से ऊपर हो गया, हरि बोल। तो लास्ट चांस है, और कोई आगे आना चाहता है? कोई बढ़ाना चाहता है? हरे कृष्णा, थैंक यू, हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा। तो सभी भक्तों का धन्यवाद देते हैं। We thank all the devotees and we especially thank Maharaj. And we also want to thank His Grace Purushottam Guru and His Grace Sakshi Gopal Guru. Where is Sakshi Gopal Guru? Okay, Maharaj assistant somewhere here. And Aryan Prabhu has also come. They are arranging Maharaj Prasad. So let us thank Maharaj and invite Maharaj to come back soon to Varanasi and see this temple and the community flourish by loudly chanting Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! His Holiness Guru Prasad Swami Maharaj ki Hare Prabhupada ki Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Meanwhile, those devotees who have taken vow to distribute some or more Bhagavad Gita, आप में से जिनके पास भी कुछ लक्ष्मी लेकर के आए हैं घर से, वो कुछ लक्ष्मी आई एडवांस अगर जमा कर देंगे तो हमारे ऊपर एक थोड़ा सा एक कृपा मिलता है या एक प्रेशर रहता है कि हम लोग जल्दी से जल्दी इसको डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करें। तो जो डिवोटीज 1 कार्टन का लक्ष्मी पे कर सकते हैं वो घनश्याम प्रभु को, प्रभु जी लोग हैं तो घनश्याम प्रभु को, माताएं हैं तो ललित गुरु और उनकी वाइफ मनीषा पांडे माता जी, उनके पास जमा कर सकते हैं। जो डिवोटी चाहे 50% अमाउंट पे कर सकते हैं, या कोई डिवोटी चाहे तो एटलीस्ट 1 भगवत गीता का कोई भी एडवांस अमाउंट आप पे कर दीजिए। जिन्होंने भी वाद किया है 1 से अधिक कार्टन में भगवत गीता डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करना। अरे उसके बाद जैसे जैसे डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन होता रहेगा आप उस तरीके से लाइव देख रहे
नहीं आ रहा साउंड, क्या करें, बंद करें? नहीं आ रहा साउंड।
हरे कृष्णा। तो जिन भक्तों ने प्लेज लिया है गीता डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करने का,